Aloha and welcome to our Council Roundup. I'm Vice Chair Kipukai Kualii, and with me today is
Councilmember Aro Kaneshiro.
So Council Chair, who normally leads this, is not able to be with us. We literally just got back from our National Association of Counties annual conference, and then Council Chair decided to go stop and visit his grandkids for a couple of days before coming home. So you got us. So our meeting was just yesterday, the 16th. And we started our meeting with a words of wisdom. I think Chair invites different folks from time to time. And yesterday we had Kumu Leina Ala Pavao Jordine from Halau Kale Mokihana o Leina Ala. So it was beautiful. She spent some quality time there sharing her mana'o. One of the things she talked about was change and how change is inevitable and change can be good. And it's we should look to embrace change and the opportunities that come with that, and that even though it's in our nature often, people in general, to resist change because they get comfortable with the way things are, that if you want things to improve and get better, you got to be open to change. Yeah, I thought, and then she also had the some of her students there, and they did an oli, and the oli kind of sounded a little Tahitian or Samoan to me. It wasn't your normal Hawaiian oli, and I think it probably was because it had to do with the ava. So they actually did like an ava ceremony, and I've never, well, not in a formal setting, and I guess it wasn't the full-on ava ceremony. It was just an abbreviated version, if you will, but they literally came behind the desk and offered it to all of us. So what did you think about the blessing in general?
It was a beautiful blessing.
Yeah.
Her message was great. I think I had a lisp for the first half of the meeting because my tongue was a little numb, but yeah, it was beautiful.
It was tasty. I tasted it before, and it mostly tastes like muddy water, but I think they used coconut milk, right? Because it tastes a little bit better. So the next thing we had was a certificate that was actually sponsored by you and Council Chair. So
yeah, so Council Chair Rapozo and I sponsored a certificate. It was brought to our attention by Bart Thomas, and Bart Thomas works with wounded veterans. And so we presented a certificate to Sergeant Matthew Spang. He wasn't here yet to be presented with the certificate. Their family was flying in at around lunchtime, but we were able to present the certificate to Bart Thomas. And yeah, Matthew Spang is a veteran. He was injured in Afghanistan. He lost both of his legs and a portion of his hand. And what Bart does is he brings them down, and he gets a lot of businesses to help sponsor this program where he brings his family down, and he's here for a week with his family. And they do all types of activities on Kauai. I know Holo Holo Charters was on there. Captain Andy's was on there. Hokuala Golf was on there. And they basically bring the family down and have them come and enjoy Kauai for all that we have. And so it was a pleasure, to be providing a certificate to a veteran that was injured and, fought in the war. And
it was good to learn too that it's even happening here on Kauai. And I know, like Councilmember Cowden kind of mentioned Wounded Warriors, which is this national organization, and Bart clarified that no, that wasn't that this was actually specifically here on Kauai, our Kauai Veterans Council that Bart is working with, and that it was a vacation, if you will, of sorts, because they're going to come here for a week, and they plan that all out for them. So it's pretty cool that all of our Kauai businesses and stuff, some of the tour companies and restaurants and stuff are donating to give them this wonderful experience. And obviously Kauai is a pretty incredible place to come.
yeah.
So going over our agenda, just quickly on some of our communications item, we had, as we do from time to time, had some approval for disposal of records. We had from the Chief of Police, approval to accept funding from the Enhanced 911 Board, just over $1 million to, in its annual recurring and non-recurring expenditures for 911 services with KPD.
And for everyone's information, that money, it was a good question that was brought up,
Right.
where does that money come from? And that money actually comes from a surcharge on cell phone service. So everyone that has a cell phone on the island pays a surcharge, and that surcharge goes to this public safety. It's a enhanced 911 board and fund, and then it goes for 911 services.
Yeah. Public Safety Answering Point, I think it was, PSAP, and then Alternate Dispatch Center, ADC. Yeah, so we're all paying for it in small amounts, like 60 cents or whatever on your phone bill every month. The next item was a communication from the chief, police chief, and it was approval to receive and expend recurring state funds of $200,000 for emergency service or dispatch positions. And this was just another chunk of money that actually brings us to a total of $789,000 so far from this source of fundings, the state fundings towards our dispatchers. Next item, we approved the receipt and expenditure for our prosecuting attorney in the amount of $55,000, and that's primarily to continue the Kauai Teen Court program, which is subcontracted to Haleopio, and they currently have the contract from July 25 to June of 27.
Yep, and we also accepted a donation from the Hawaiian Lifeguard Association of a 40-foot shipping container. The value of that container is $1,000, and it went to our lifeguards, who said they're going to post it somewhere on the North Shore to store items.
Yep. And then we had, our committee reports and those usual stuff. But then we had bills. We had a package of bills from the planning department, and basically these are bills. What is that? Bills from the Planning Commission. There's 8 of them, 8 bills total, recommendations related to the plantation camps and the with regards to wildfire and wildland urban interface zoning amendments. So why don't we just go through the bills?
I guess I'll start with bill number 2961. It was to amend chapter 8 of our Kauai County Code relating to the comprehensive zoning ordinance and the West Kauai Community Plan implementing ordinance. And it basically incorporates provisions addressing wildland urban interface wildfire hazards. So the implementation of the plantation camp wildland urban interface regulations within special planning areas O, P, and Q will provide a comprehensive framework for addressing wildfire hazards in these areas. And so the types of things that were in the bill was vegetation maintenance, defensible space, certain types of construction that's required to prevent embers from getting into the houses, and also just maintenance requirements around the house, not having vegetation so close to a home. A lot of it was just creating defensible space around a house.
And it was 8 bills total, so you'll hear some similarities because some of them kind of overlap and support each other. Bill 2962, it basically amends our Kauai County Code and relating to the West Kauai Community Plan. And that's to establish a special planning area P, which shall be referred to as the Numila Plantation Camp Walkable Mixed Use District and be designated as SPA-P. That's the planning zoning. And then it will also reflect land use designation updates from agriculture to plantation camp within that SPAP boundaries. That's 2962.
2963 was regarding Numila Plantation Camp again, and it was to update the Kauai County General Plan for the subjected area that would be called Numila Plantation Camp.
And then 2964 updates approximately 14.9 acres of the state land use district boundary and designation of tax map key parcel 422-00001 from agriculture to urban again.
Yeah. Bill 2965 is for a location called Ka'avanui Village, which is on Gay and Robinson's property. And it's basically doing the same thing as they did with Numila Camp. And it was to amend the West Kauai regional map to reflect the land use designation updates from ag to plantation camp within the designated boundaries.
And then 2966 updates the Kauai County General Plan 2018 to designate the subject property identified as tax map key parcel 4 1-7-00006 and referred to as Ka'avanui Village as being located approximately 1/2 mile Mauka and northeast of the Pakala United States Postal Service building in Makaweli.
2967 was an update of approximately 14.9 acres again of the state land use district boundary and designation of the Ka'avanui village from ag to urban.
And then finally, 2968 in this package of bills. 2968 updates the county zoning maps, ZM-200, to reflect zoning designation updates within the subject parcels identified as, and those 4 parcels, 417-006-006, which is Ka'avanui Village, also 1-7-006-003, and then 2-2-00001, which is the Numila camp, and 17006-001. And all of those going from agriculture to plantation camp. The amendment also ensures uniform application of the wildland urban interface standards across the full extent of the developed camp area. So as far as all of these 8 bills from the planning, they're coming to us from the Planning Commission in initial recommendation. We're approving it to send it back to the Planning Commission. They'll have more community meetings where the community can do further testimony.
Well, these ones are staying in planning committee.
Yeah. And then, well, I mean, if you want to participate, come participate in county, in the council, in our upcoming meetings. There was one more planning bill, right?
Yeah,
Not part
proposed
of this
bill
package.
2969, and this one is actually going to get referred to the planning commission,
All right,
back to the
that's the one.
planning commission, and this bill was created by Council Chair Rapozo and Councilmember Carvalho, and it's regarding shoreline setback and coastal protection. And so in its infancy, this bill goes to strengthen the shoreline setback area and what type of vegetation. I think we've been hearing cases of where owners have been planting vegetation that starts to creep into the beach access area. And this bill, the purpose of this bill is to kind of restrict that type of activity. It also put in a little more regulations regarding what type of improvements are considered minor versus major improvements. Because in the past, if you do minor improvements, you're able to do it. If it's major improvements, there's a lot more criteria you have to do. And I believe we've been hearing that people are saying they're doing minor improvements in their house, but on the interior, they're doing a whole bunch of major improvement that nobody can see from the outside. And so the bill does strengthen and give the planning department the ability to go and get the cost of what the improvements are on the inside and a better determination of whether what someone might be doing along the coastline is a minor improvement versus a major improvement.
I think Kauai is leading the way with this type of bill, and we're just making it stronger. And there's been input from a community as well, and this is something that's been being worked on for quite a while. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. My first review of the bill, it looks really good. I imagine that council will work on it with planning and with community, and we'll get it approved and get a stronger bill.
Yeah, and so being it's going back to the planning commission, there's going to be a lot of swings at the bill, to improve it or tighten it. So from us, it goes back to planning commission. Planning commission handles it, does whatever changes they feel viable, sends it back to us. And once it gets back to us, it goes through our regular process again of first reading, public hearing, committee, and final. So there's a lot of swings at this bill.
Yeah. And basically, that was our full council meeting for yesterday. And
we also passed the sewer discount.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I did forget the
sewer
very last
connection
one.
discount.
Yeah, it was the sewer connection discount, the waiver of our sewer connection charges for affordable housing projects. That was our final and second reading, so that was the final approval of this bill. So now it will go to the mayor for signing into law. Basically, 100% no sewer connection charges for affordable housing projects, 120% AMI and lower, and then 50% of the discount on the sewer connection charge for 120% to 180% for the gap housing that we know we have to support as well. So that was final approval, and that's going on to the mayor. And that was the end of our full council meeting yesterday. And I was hearing from Chair that we won't have a committee meeting next week, so don't look for a show recap next week. We'll be coming back the week after. And our big mahalo to Hoike and to Roger for helping us with this. And big mahalo to Councilmember Kaneshiro for stepping in today, because this is not as fun with just one person. I know when I filled in last week that would be better to have the tag team back and forth. So
You got
thank
the second or third stringer.
Yeah, our third. Aloha.
Thank you.